everybody to the celebration. I'm going to open this up with an official chime. And it's so lovely to have you all here with us today. I always feel incredibly blessed that Yvette asked me to join her on her forum. It was her brainchild for us to do the astrology and the yoga evenings with the guided meditation together. So thank you always for that, Yvette. I feel very honored and blessed and privileged to be doing this. So what I've done here for the Aries full moon celebration is I collected some petals, some flower petals of a plant called the coral tree, also known as erythrina in South Africa, because the petals fall to the ground and there's this bright red, it almost looks like rain, orange red rain lying underneath the tree. And because Aries is a fire sign, I thought it was appropriate color to use for the sign for this event. So I collected them and put together this Aries full moon celebration sign. And just last week we sanded our wooden floors and re-oiled them. It was a very big effort. And while the house was still empty, because we had to take all the furniture out to do that, I used our new wooden floors that had just been oiled as a background, and put in a couple of sweet peas and pelargoniums out of my garden as well. So this is the actual coral tree, which most of the South African people will know about. It comes into flower in spring, early spring for us, just after the spring equinox, around the spring equinox. It starts flowering before it even shoots out any leaves. And these are the petals to the ground in which I used. And here's me. This is how I've put it together on the empty wooden floor at the time. And then I stand on my chair and take a picture from the top. And Bob's your uncle. And we have a sign for the event of this Aries full moon, which will be tomorrow on the 1st of October at 11 p.m. in Johannesburg, South Africa, and also in Europe. Zurich has the same time, and most of some of the European countries will be in the same time zone as well. Just trying to get my lighting right here. Hopefully the light's okay. There we go. In London, it will happen an hour earlier at 10 p.m. on Thursday, the 1st of October. In New York, it will be 5 p.m. And Los Angeles, it will be 2 p.m. Sydney, it will be the next day, Friday, the 2nd of October, early in the morning, 7 a.m. And Perth Denpasar will be 5 a.m. also on the 2nd of October, because of course they're far more over in the east. Now, with all full moons, it's always nice for you to see where is this happening in your chart. And to do this, if you don't have your own astrological chart, you can go to www.astro.com and punch in your birth details, and they will throw up a chart for you. If you struggle with that online, and there probably are other online websites as well that do that, if you don't come right with that, you're welcome to email me and I will send you your chart. As long as I've got your exact birth time, date and location and your name, then I can email you a birth chart as well. Now, the full moon is always a time when the moon, which has been growing since it was here in the sign of Virgo on the 17th of September, and it grew and 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 became bigger. In other words, it was waxing in the sky. At new moon, the sky is black because we don't see anything. And as the moon starts moving away from the sun, because both the sun and the moon were here on the 17th of September, and as the sun moved forward and the moon moved forward, it was growing to this waxing point of culmination where it is today at full moon, where it's exactly 180 degrees away from the sun. And the reason that we see the full moon on full moon is because the sunlight is reflecting onto the face of the moon, and that light is reflecting out back at us at nighttime and lightens up our environment, which, unlike at new moon, when the sun is with the moon, there's no reflection and the night sky is dark. So we will find that tomorrow evening, somewhere between today and tomorrow, depending on where on the earth you are, the full moon will be very present in the sky for you to enjoy. Now, full moons are always a time of a tug of war within us, because we have the sun and its gravitational pull, pulling us towards the Libra nature of harmony and relationships and uniting and seeking fairness. And we have the moon's gravitational pull, which is in the sign of Aries, which is more about asserting ourselves and saying and kind of standing up for who we are and what we want in a very almost enthusiastic, naive, impulsive nature. And with this tug of war going on, there are these two opposite sides of the spectrum of the archetypes within us that require balancing. So we are caught between these two realities of what is it that I want and what is it that I want to do for myself so that I can still be in a relationship. In other words, what do I do for another person? When is it fair for me just to do what I want to do and be selfish per se? And how will that damage my relationships? And at what point would it be good for my relationships if I stand up for who it is and what it is that I want without hurting other people? That is the atmosphere of this full moon. So as the moon has been growing and growing and getting to this point of ripeness and fruition and fullness, it very much highlights for us that this is a time where, for instance, in the female menstrual cycle, when we are in the new moon phase is when we would be menstruating, and when we're in the full moon phase, we would be ovulating. So there's a sense of fruition and ripeness of all matters born from the last new moon or any other new moons before. So at new moon, we generally have a sense of what is my intention? What is it that I want to create over the next week or two? And for the next week or two, as the moon is growing, we have the sense of fullness of life, or a ripeness or point of culmination or resolution, almost a sense of a climax or a peak, or things coming to a head. And with that, also our feelings coming to a head, because everything that we started on the new moon that we've been pushing and trying to activate and creating and having grow in our life now comes to this head as we head to the full moon. And with the full moon being a very light environment, right? The sunlight reflecting off the full face of the moon, it illuminates our world. And with the astrology, we say as above, so below. And so if the night sky is really light because of the sun's reflection off the moon, we internally have a sense of illumination or revelation about ourselves. And it's as though that bright light shines into deeper crevices within us, and we start looking at things that we don't normally notice and that we haven't seen before. And things such as secrets can be revealed over a full moon. And even things that were lost can suddenly be found, because suddenly our life is illuminated and we can find the things that we didn't know. Now, as the truth is revealed and our emotions are brought to the surface during the full moon, and our emotions run really high, we have the opportunity to look at and deal with the stuff in our life, right? Because suddenly the light is shining in there. And there's a sense of lunacy or madness. The word lunatic comes from the Latin moon, or being moonstruck. And the moon also very much relates to our instincts and our reactions, which is very much part of our primitive nature of the reptilian brain, where we just react without thinking, right? During full moon, there's often more people arriving in emergency centers, in hospitals, because there's erratic behavior in humanity. There's a lot of tension. There can be more crime because the light is out at night. You can easier see what you want to steal if you want to run around at night. Our emotions just run high, and there's more visibility out and about. And also our blood tends to flow stronger around that time. We're more likely to hemorrhage. If you think of the tides in the oceans, how they are affected by the moon. So the rise and the fall of the oceans are very much related to the gravitational pull of the moon on the one side and the sun on the other side, right? So we have neap tides and we have high spring tides during these times. And because our bodies are mostly made out of water, our brain, over more than 70% of it is made out of water, it also affects us physiologically. And there were some studies done in the Basel University in Switzerland by Dr. Never know how to spell it, how to pronounce his name, Cajochen, Cajochen, something like that. It's a study that was published in 2013, and in it he had people completely not exposed to the moonlight. So in other words, they were in closed rooms without any windows. They could not actually see the physical moonlight. And the research showed that it took 5 minutes longer on average for everybody to fall asleep. Everybody slept 20 minutes shorter than normal, and their sleep was 30% less than normal. So there is evidence that insomnia could be part of this full moon cycle. And of course, if you haven't slept that well, it influences your mood and you're a little bit more cranky. So that's kind of, and there's further research done by chronobiologists also in psychiatric wards relating to mania, etc., like that. And there's always a correlation to the moon cycle as well. So yeah, what do we do about all of this, right? So it's very important that during the full moon cycle, we activate our parasympathetic nervous system. We want to calm our minds and body, and we want to be mindful. In other words, when we're eating, only eat. When we're reading, only reading. When we're talking, only talking, not too much multitasking. We kind of want to calm down our nervous system. Maybe go for massage or do anything that you really enjoy, like let's say your favorite hobby. Go and spend some time in nature or practice meditation. Do deep abdominal breathing, for instance, right from the depth of your diaphragm. Focus on soothing words. If you've got issues in your vents and you're feeling like really sensitive and this full moon's getting to you, just focus on words that are soothing to you. And you can even engage in repetitive prayer and visualizations of a peaceful world and a better world for yourself. Doing exercise such as yoga or Tai Chi or Qigong, which you'll be doing tonight with Yvette. The yoga is always good because that calms down our sympathetic nervous system. Ultimately, you want to feed your soul and you want to find your center during the full moon. And there's 2 ceremonies that you can also do during the full moon. It's quite good to do this like a day before the full moon, like for instance today. And there is one which is a forgiveness ceremony. And there really, the forgiveness ceremony will help bring you in balance. If the full moon is throwing you a little bit off balance, the ceremony will help you release any guilt or fear or disappointments or anything that's counterproductive, any habits or thoughts or relationships or negative patterns or upsets or memories of events that you didn't like or anything that's got sort of a lower octave energy, old stuff and toxins that you want to get rid of. And you want to do this so that you can forgive yourself for what you what hasn't worked or that you're not been happy with, and then you actually make space for a gratitude ceremony first. And the important thing to remember also with the forgiveness ceremony is you can make a list of all the people that you feel angry with or people that you feel are angry with you, and you can then see them as your teachers and see that everybody who's upsetting you, or even yourself, if you're upset with yourself, look at that as an opportunity for a lesson to be learned, and that these people pushing your buttons are actually teachers that are there to help you evolve and move forward. And you can write this all on a piece of paper, meditate on it, put all these things that are upsetting you or that you don't like on a pink cloud and let it blow away in the sky, and then make space for a gratitude journal, whereby you will then make a list of all the people and events and situations that you're really grateful for in your life. And the focus here is by being grateful that you're opening up an energy force by which what you send out is what you get, which is a lot better than having all the buttons behavior that can come up with a full moon. So let's look at in detail a little bit more about the specifics of this full moon. We know that the moon is in the sign of Aries, and Aries we know to be a fire sign. And we also know about Aries that if the buttons are pushed and psychotic, you know, like really angry and murderous, hot-headed, want to do to be too impulsive, too instinctual, too brash, too blunt, or too competitive. That is very much the Aries. Like, I want to come first all the time. I'm rushing. And the idea to transform that into a more higher octave form of energy of Aries in this full moon, the sign of the full moon being Aries, is to rather act out your Aries nature in a more powerful, assertive, dynamic, and ambitious manner without harming anybody else. The full moon we can see is right next to Chiron, and Chiron's influence, Chiron is the thing that looks like a little bit of a key over there. So for those of you who don't know about Chiron, he is a little planetary body, also known as a comet, and he is known to be the behalf, who was a healer and a teacher, but he could believe that his parents thinking he's just not, you know, good enough, or he's not okay, he's not acceptable. And Apollo, the god of the sun, raised him and healed him. And the sun gave him lessons in how to become a teacher, how to become an astrologer. He taught him hunting and sport. And Chiron thrived and did really well in all of these modalities. Heal himself from the rejection of his parents. And this is really the symbolism spiritual wounds. So this could be a feeling of worthlessness, of insecurity, of shame, of guilt, for instance. And where Chiron is activated in our lives, and you can now see where is Aries in your chart, what house is this happening in this full moon, is where a life issue might come up that requires that kind of healing, where you might feel that you've got lack of self-esteem or lack of self-respect or self-worth, and you overcompensate as a result, and then you act out too violently or too fast or in a way that you might harm somebody else, which is really what you don't want to be doing, right? Because your self-identity is wounded where Chiron is, and the moon is right next to Chiron, saying this is an opportunity for us to look at our own self-identity and our capacity to be a leader and stand up for what it is that we find and feel is important. It's about our identity and about our own leadership, right? And the wounds and the pain around that. Now, this could have been caused through neglect or overprotection by our parents, or just simply not being noticed by others, or feeling non-existent in the world. And what we do then is we have the defense mechanism that we put in place so that we don't have to avoid these unpleasant memories. Now, these memories are everything to do with past traumas, anger, guilt, old pain, vulnerabilities, not knowing who we really are, lacking confidence, feeling insecure, struggling to find ourselves, feeling inadequate or even fearful, and fighting to be noticed, right? And being overly active, overly aggressive, and really striving for first place, because that's what Aries wants to do, right? It wants to win and come first. Now, how do we heal this wound that Chiron gives us the opportunity to look at? It's all about obtaining knowledge and skills in whatever leadership position that you're in whatever position you want to assert yourself in. And it's about growing spiritually. It's about acting out your will without hurting others. Because remember, the Libra nature is about others and relationships. And the Aries is about what you want to do. And if you can do that without hurting other people, then you are on the higher octave of this energy. So if you don't believe in yourself and you feel inadequate, you try to prove, or we try and prove ourselves, or one tries to prove oneself, and one does it with such force because one is so insecure that one increasingly becomes ineffective in actually achieving what one wants, because one is too assertive, maybe too aggressive about it, and in that way actually pushes away people, and that's what we want to avoid on this full moon. So the idea is to address this, transform it, and then release it, right? And by being modest is, for instance, one of the way of healing it. By being a modest person, that can help a lot. And also by helping others understand their own inner wounds. So by finding your highest spiritual consciousness around this, you can evolve and make this a point of healing. And Chiron really helps us to rise above our intrinsic ego nature and to become more altruistic, to realize there's somebody else who's also around. Now, the healing tips around Chiron are very much about finding an appropriate outlet for your aggression. So if you're feeling angry, then go and do some sport, or, you know, do some exercise. It is learning about being more softer spoken, because Mars, the ruler of Aries, the ruler of this full moon, is by nature aggressive. And by just speaking with more love and being more softer spoken, that in itself can help you prevent, you know, pushing other people away. Important also is take the advice that you give to other people. That's very much an Aries Chiron thing. And if you're aware of your issues and you continuously work with them so that you become better at understanding them, you can become a really good coach that teaches other people how to be more assertive and how they can find their inner power and their own inner identity and self-confidence. So yeah, that gives you an insight into the parts of this full moon. We can also see that over and above Chiron being so close to the moon, we also have here along this full moon axis the square to the Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter environment, which has been carrying on since the 12th of January, when Saturn and Pluto were together in the sky at 22 degrees. Pluto subsequently moved forward and back, and Saturn also back and forth, but Saturn's now moved past the 22 degrees mark. But the reason I'm stating this is because in the next week, Mars will be going retrograde to 22 degrees, and it will be activating the square to the Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter cycle. And every 36 years, Pluto and Saturn get together in the sky, and that is when the whole COVID issue began, right? And 36 years before that, there were other events. And in 1918, when Saturn and Pluto were together, there was World War I, and World War II started on a Saturn and Pluto conjunction when they were together. And 9/11 happened when they were opposing each other. So when Saturn and Pluto come together, there's always a change around governments, authorities, because that is what Saturn is all about. Saturn is about commitments, and Pluto is about oppressive circumstances or empowering circumstances. So on the 12th of January, when Saturn and Pluto were together, this whole oppressive circumstances began. And this is when new commitments and restrictions and rules and or regulations came in by the authorities. In our incident specifically, this was played out, of course, with COVID. But for our own personal lives, there will be an area in your life, and I'll address it when I go through all 12 signs now, where you will feel that there's a sell-by date, that you are dragging out and delaying, letting go of something that requires a new paradigm. There's cracked foundations here that no longer serve you, that give you the sense of artificial security, but they're no longer serving you. And it's time to let these go and to regenerate and sort of create a more truthful version of yourself. The truth and the hard facts are always better and more important than just some sort of comfortable delusion to live in an old pattern. And Rumi always says, there is courage involved if you want the truth. And this Saturn Pluto is about us finding our own more authentic truth, because we're constantly evolving. So what used to give us security and the authorities that used to work for us are outdated now. It's a sell-by date. It's time to let go and regenerate this part of our lives. And when Mars, the ruler of this moon, activates that through a square, or the moon in this case is also squaring this collection, it is really putting us face to face with all the challenges, frustrations, discomforts, worries, troubles, conflicts, and delays in us letting go of the old and creating a more masterful, newer, more truthful, authentic version of ourselves, which actually gives us relief and allows us to experience mastery and move forward and evolve in our lives. This Mars square, the first time happened 13th of August, happens again on the 8th of August, exactly a week after the full moon, and again on the 21st of December. So we have these three opportunities in our life to get rid of the old stuff that's not working and turn this around and create a whole new paradigm for us. And this is being activated on the full moon. On the 7th of October, we have Mercury here having moved forward, and it will make a opposition to Uranus. And I will slightly touch on that too, because this is a time when we'll have some sort of revolutionary, innovative, unexpected surprise of awakening that sparks less obvious solutions. And I will go, so that's around the 7th or 8th of October, when you suddenly feel like, wow, something new has come. It's meant to come to help you along with these changes. So let's look at the 12 zodiac signs and how this will play out for everybody. When you're looking at your ascendant sign, this is very much about your immediate interactions with the world and how you show up in the world and how people see you. When you look at your sun sign for this full moon, it's about your outward yang expression of how you radiate and shine out into the world. When you look at your moon sign, it's more your reflective, internal, receptive, yin, subjective, emotive, reactive expression of self. And it can often relate to home and family. Now, the artwork that I use for the 12 signs is by a painter called Geoffrey Boschart, a Dutch painter who was a surrealist. He loved astrology and religion, psychology, and a whole bunch of things. And you can see like the mythology and the occultism, witchcraft, magic, etc. You can see this in his beautiful art, which I'm going to be using as I talk about the 12 signs. So firstly, we're starting off with Aries. The full moon is in Aries. And might I add also that all the cardinal signs will feel this full moon stronger. I'm going to flip back to here. The cardinal signs, Aries, Capricorn, Libra, and Cancer, that are being squared by this moon, will feel this moon as more of a challenge, or as more of a battery, a filled battery that will help them on their path forward. The air signs and the fire signs will find this a lot kind of more pleasant to work with. So let's start with Aries, one of the cardinal signs. So for you, you will feel this in your area that is everything to do about your physical appearance, your health, your image, what you look like, what your persona is like. And here it's time for you to let go of the wounds, the guilt, the shames, the old traumas, any vulnerability that you have, and become assertive and dynamic and powerful in who it is that you are, and express yourself out in the world without having to hurt anybody else or be aggressive towards anybody else. And you'll be able to stand up for yourself with a soft-spoken voice and get the assertion that you want without actually harming anybody in the process, because Aries, you know, on the lower octave can become quite aggressive, and we don't want that to happen on the full moon. The things that are changing in your life, the old paradigm that needs to be regenerated and move into a new paradigm, is in the area of your career and how you shine out in the world and your actions out into the world. And this is where you realize you need to release and let go and transform. You might hit a couple of delays and challenges in the process, but the full moon and the dates afterwards on the 8th of October and again in December, 21 December, is when you will kind of flush out the last bit of this. It's been going since January, so this is the last kind of leg of it, and you're 3/4 there. You've just got to do the last little bit of work, and then you're off into the new paradigm. For all the Taurians, the full moon is happening for you in an era that is relating to secrets in your life and the hidden, the spiritual world, the place where you have self-renounced the material world, and where you withdraw to a place of isolation and wanting to be alone so that you can connect to God or the angels or the greater nature around us. And for you, it's a time to look at, are there any wounds around being isolated, any shame, any guilt about any secrets that you have, anything to do with the hidden, and also with institutes such as retreat centers or monasteries or anywhere that you can go. It includes also, you know, hospitals, hopefully, you know, hospitalization for anything serious, but basically a place of where you step away from the world and you have a look at your wounds that you can now look at and reflect and let go and heal. And for you, the big shift of letting go of the old paradigm and this false sense of security is very much related to matters of your belief system, what your belief system is, what your religion is, what your spiritual nature is. It very much relates to foreigners and foreign travel and teachers and learning new things. And here it's time to overhaul the old belief systems and religions, philosophies, travels, and actually master those, get rid of those that are holding you back, and change and evolve to become a more masterful version of yourself in relations to either teaching or learning from another, or counseling, or university degrees, working with gurus, being open to new belief systems. So for the Geminis, and don't you just love his artwork? I really love his beautiful artwork. So for the Geminis, the full moon is happening for you in an area of your life that relates to your hopes and dreams and to your wishes, as well as the groups and societies and friends and people that you relate to. And here you could look at, are there any old wounds or shame or guilt about any of the friends that you've got or the groups of people that you've got? Or are there also the healing higher octave of persons entering your life that are assertive and powerful and dynamic that you really want to have in your life in terms of your groups of people and friends, as well as the hopes and dreams that you have for yourself. And it also includes the income that you'll be earning. And for you, Geminis, the change in your life is very much related to the resources that you receive from other people. So this could be financial or spiritual or emotive resources that you're receiving from others, or even physical resources that you're receiving from others that for the last 29 years or so, when Saturn was last in the cycle, have served you and given you a sense of security and have been an authority that works for you. But now it's become, there's a crack in the foundation. It's an old paradigm. It's time to regenerate and let go of the old versions and create a new way of receiving all the resources from other persons to what you are used to. Now for the Cancerians, for you this is happening in your career environment and how you shine out in the world and what your status in the world is around. That is where the full moon energy is in. Where can you be assertive and dynamic and powerful in your ways, and also ambitious in a way that is free of the wounds or the insecurities that you might feel around this, where you don't have to be overly aggressive or try and come first all the time, but where you can actually also listen to other people and their advice, and where you can share your knowledge with others in the work environment in a way that is helpful to everybody and healing to everybody. You standing up and being assertive and being a great leader will help many people who observe you or work with you. The big changes for you in your life and the relationships that are falling away from your life is everything to do with relationships, business partnerships, marriage partnerships. So this could mean that you're bringing in new relationships that are more in tune with the new version of who you are, the more evolved version of who you are, this more assertive, dynamic person that you are, and somebody who is more into being a leader in their field and having good rules and regulations and being an authority in their field that will assist you in how you do your work and how you shine out in the world and what status you have. So this could be a marriage partner, this could be a business partner, and basically, unless you realize that there's partnerships that need to move away that no longer serve you, you can't really make space for the new relationships. So for you, for the rest of the year, it is very much about almost just, you know, letting go of those relationships that aren't working so that you can shine out in the world and have a better career moving forward. For all the Leos, for you, this full moon is happening in an area in your life that relates to travel, foreigners, belief systems, religions, philosophy, counseling, studying, universities, wise people, foreign countries. And your focus is very much about healing around that area of your life. For you, this influence of this full moon is activating matters related to your day-to-day routine, possibly even your pets, any disease that you might have in your body, literally dis-ease in your day-to-day routine, and also how you are of service to other people. That needs to be overhauled. There's an old paradigm that you've been letting go of since January, which is slightly oppressive and has this false belief that it's giving you security and that it's good for you, but it no longer is, because you've evolved and you're moving past that, and you want to create a new day-to-day routine and a new health routine. And maybe you've got a new pet since January, or you haven't yet and you want to get a new pet, and you also want to be able to be of service to other people, or have people that you employ who are of service of you, to be kind of upgraded to a sense of mastery, because Capricorn is the sign that they're in, and that is all about mastery and status and ambitious and doing really well in that field. And in the 6th house, because it also has to do with disease, Saturn in Capricorn could very much relate to teeth, hair, and skin. So if there's anything that you need to do, fix your teeth, your hair, your skin, this is a brilliant time to be working on that and get that done before the end of the year, which is when this energy will have moved along. For the Librans, who are also, oh goodness, sorry, the Virgos, I'm jumping off to Libra, sorry, the Virgos, for the Virgoans, this full moon is happening in an area that is related to the resources that you receive from other people. And the resources that we receive from other people, right, be it financial, physical, emotional, spiritual, also very much relates to intimacy. In other words, if we're fearful and we have anxiety about getting close to somebody, we can't really give of ourselves, and then we can't really receive from others. And the full moon in Virgo is showing, for the Virgoans, sorry, the full moon in Aries for the Virgoans is in this area of their life that is about having fears of intimacy and anxieties around intimacy, and anxieties about what can I provide to another so that I can receive from them. There's this reaction of giving and taking, and any wounds around that. And there's the sense that if you can be very assertive and ambitious and dynamic about receiving resources or asking for resources from other people. So this could be anything from inheritance coming your way, insurance money coming your way, maybe a bond or a mortgage that you want to get from a bank. It could be your business partner's money or your spouse's money, or their spiritual, emotional, or physical impetus into your life. By doing this in a calm and gentle nature with self-confidence, you can also receive this through doing this in a very loving environment. What this is doing for you, this opening up to connecting with others and experiencing deeper intimacy for the Virgoans, is that it's really helping you to deal with all matters related to how you express yourself, how you give love of yourself, that are in some sort of way outdated. There's been a 29 odd year cycle, give or take 30-year cycle, that's when Saturn was last in this area of your chart, that gave you a sense of security, which has now become outdated. And this area of your life is very much related to children, fun, romance, entertainment, sport, hobbies. It's really a fun part of your life. And it's saying that however you used to have fun or be a lover or giver of yourself, or things that you've done with children, if you have any, has now come to a point that it's outdated. You've learned your lessons over the last 29 years, and it's time to move on to a new paradigm of mastery of relationships with children, or how you give love of yourself, or how you are creative, or how you have fun and enjoy yourself. And this is very much tied into the challenges of being assertive when it comes to wanting to be dependent on another or sharing with another and receiving resources from others. Okay, so now let us move on to Libra. So for the Librans, this is happening in an area in their life. The full moon is happening in an area of your life that is everything to do with relationships. How and where have you got wounds or old traumas, or feel insecure about the relationships that you have with others? Because this full moon is giving you this opportunity to say, be assertive, be ambitious about what it is that you want to have in your relationship, and be powerful and feel dynamic about the relationships that you have with people instead of feeling insecure about relationships. So this is really a big focus on what you can celebrate about the powerful feeling and energy that you get about being in a relationship. For you, the Librans, there is the sell-by date and the letting go of matters and paradigms related to home life. So this could be anything to do with the actual physical property or home, or the family life, as well as possibly your unconscious, or for instance, your own inner psychology within a family, family members, or parental issues. So there is something around the home life that you can now grow out of that will allow you to become a better version and a more evolved version, and have a higher relationship with your home and family life. So this could be an actual physical move to another place, or it could be renovating and fixing your own home, because, you know, as the things around us happen, it reflects our own internal psychology, right? So if we internally are changing our attitudes about home and family life, and we are at the same time fixing our home, it's very much tied into that paradigm of letting go of old wounds and old fears and things that we're holding on to, which we thought make us feel secure, when we've actually been liberated from that, and we can step up a notch and be more authentic and closer to our truth by letting go of certain things related to home and family and stepping into a new version of ourselves. So for all the Scorpio, sun rising or ascendant viewers, for you, the full moon is happening in an area of your life that highlights your day-to-day, your routine, and how you are of service to other people, or how staff is of service to you, and your day-to-day hard work and labor and toil, and any disease or overwork that might come from that. So for the Scorpios, it's important to be assertive and ambitious in this area in your life, without stepping on other people's toes, right? To still be aware of old wounds that you might be carrying that you could let go over this full moon, whereby you don't feel insecure about these things, and you don't need to step on other people's toes, and you can just stand up confidently and deal with all these matters related to either your physical personal disease, working matters, your day-to-day routine, and how you lay out when you will be gymming and when you won't be gymming, and how you will break up your day-to-day routine. And this for you will very much help matters related to thinking and thoughts. What thoughts do you carry around with yourself? What words are you expressing? Is there an old paradigm of habits of speaking and saying or responding to things that you realize is actually self-destructive and it's no longer serving you, and you can let go of that? Is it possibly paperwork or emails? You know, maybe clean out your email list. Maybe there's people on there you don't want to have. Is it your co-workers? It's very much related to your immediate environment, to your neighbors, and even your siblings. Is there something you've been hanging on to with your siblings that you can now let go of and create a more masterful kind of relationship built on ambition that's not holding you back because you might be stuck in even an old environment or an old neighborhood that doesn't work for you because you've moved on in your life, and you want to get rid of this paradigm that feels oppressive and outdated and has a sell-by date on it, and you want to move forward in a whole new way of thinking that is more assertive, that is filled with love and truth, honest truth to your own personal individual and not the truth of the conditioned world and those thoughts. This is truly about connecting to your own thoughts and realizing that thoughts and words have power. And this is how you can create, for all the Scorpios, through your thinking and the words and how you communicate and the relationships you have with neighbors or your immediate environment. What is it there that you can change and just step up a notch, get rid of the old habits and evolve into a more truthful, authentic version of yourself? And this will continue until the end of the year, until you've completely ticked that off and you've mastered the new way of thinking. And with that, you've changed your day-to-day routine, possibly matters related to as well. For the Sagittarians, this is happening in a very fun place for you. This is everything to lover, going on holidays, entertaining, expressing yourself, wanting to get up on stage and say, hey, look what I'm doing. It is about sports, entertainment, children, being creative. So there's this urge that you have to want to become really assertive and overcome any insecurities or wounds that you have around these issues, and that you want to become ambitious and say, I want to create new things, or I'd like to have children, or I want to have a different relationship, or a new, more creative, fun-filled relationship with my children, for instance. And for the Sagittarians, this could be your sun, moon, or your ascendant, the issues that are changing for you, the big paradigm shift for you, is everything to do with your self-esteem and your self-worth and your own personal finances. There is an old habit that since January the 12th, when Saturn and Pluto joined up this area of your life, that you've realized is no longer serving you. A sense of, how do I handle my money? What self-esteem is connected to my finances? And realizing that whatever that was is now longer not serving you anymore. And there's a need to reinvest your finances or relook at how you handle your finances, because you've achieved what it is that you wanted in the last Saturn-Pluto cycle. Or rather the last Saturn cycle that was there 29 years ago in your life. You've learned in those last 29 years, and you can now move on to a paradigm of a regeneration, of a newer version of yourself, which is more masterful. And we shall move on to Capricorn, who will feel this very strongly too, because this is another one of the cardinal signs. And for Capricorn, the full moon is happening in an area of your life that has everything to do about home, property, land, your family, your father, your ancestry, your roots, your inner psychology, your unconscious world, your actual physical home. And there is, since January of this year, January the 12th specifically, is when Pluto and Saturn conjuncted in this 22 degrees that Pluto is currently at, and Mars is activating again. Through this full moon, renovating your house, selling your house, buying a new one, relocating, losing a family member, possibly gaining a family member, becoming aware of your own inner psychology around intimacy and home life, and stepping that up a notch and saying, I can be more masterful and traditional and conservative in my ways, and create a proper foundation and a proper home for myself that is more in line with my current evolved, authentic, true nature of who I am. And this activation point of the moon in Aries in this area in your life wants you to be more assertive and have ambitions around this. The changes that you are experiencing also since January the 12th, with all of this Pluto Saturn going on throughout the whole year in these stages being activated by this full moon, is everything to do with your physical body, your health, your persona, your image, how you present yourself out into the world, your physical appearance, and your perspective out in the world. How do I relate to this world? And there's been this massive shift going on for you since the beginning of this year, and you sort of 3/4 through letting go the old version of yourself and regenerating. I always think of the phoenix, you know, phoenix burning to the ashes and then coming out anew. There's about a 3/4 new phoenix that's come out, or is it the butterfly that hatches out of the cocoon. This butterfly for the Capricorn, the new Capricorn, is about 3/4 there, unfolding the wings, not quite there. It's got this full moon and another activation on the 8th of October. We'll even feel it again on the 16th of October as Mars squares Jupiter on that day. And then on the 21st of December, it's like the final dealing with this stretching open those new wings of being this new person and how I shine out in the world and who is my new persona. So there's deep cathartic transformation going on with the Capricorns, and it's very much related to home and family. What I like about this artwork of Jofra is I've just recognized there's the symbol of Saturn, which of course rules the sign of Capricorn. He hides all these little symbols all over, and it just came, I just saw it as I was chatting about it. Yep, that's the Capricorn goat that wants to be ambitious, wants to get to the top of the mountain, and is in the process of being about 3/4 up that mountain. And by December, you'll be on top of that mountain, having transformed yourself into a brand new you version, an upgraded version, a newer model that in its own traditional conservative way is shining just a little bit more brighter than it has before. So let me move on to Aquarius. So for the Aquarians, the full moon is happening in an area of your life that has everything to do with your thinking, right? And your communication skills and your writing and reading and typing and SMSing and emailing and dealing with business matters and paperwork and day-to-day commuting and your neighbors and possibly your cousins or your siblings as well. And there is a focus on this, and there's a focus on how can I be assertive and ambitious and drop all the old wounds I have that make me feel insecure about how I teach or how I communicate. Let me let go of whatever kept me in the old paradigm, because I used to believe that I was insecure about these matters. This full moon is allowing you to release that and say, I'm no longer insecure. And for that reason, I don't have to push my will onto other people. I can be assertive in a way that is in harmony with others too. It's very much about your thinking and how you can think about being more assertive and also speaking in a softer, gentle voice and doing the things as mentioned earlier on, whereby you take the very same advice that you give to other people. Have a look at that for all the Aquarians. The Aquarians have been almost going through like a double whammy of letting go of the old paradigm, because the Saturn-Pluto-Jupiter conjunction, which started at the beginning of the year on the 12th of January, where Saturn and Pluto were 12 degrees in the sky, 22 degrees on the 12th of January, there were 22 degrees of Capricorn. This was happening in an area of the life for the Aquarians, which is related to isolation, to loss, to letting go the material paradigm of the world and stepping more into the spiritual ways of being. This is where you have secrets and you have open enemies and you are working behind the scenes and you're connecting to God and angels and nature and the universe around you. And you can only do this when you feel isolated, and when you want to recharge your batteries, you need to step away from the world and plug yourself in. And that is kind of the space where you've required a sense of an overhaul, where there's been a sense of security in the isolation that you feel, that in fact no longer gives you security. There's been a security in the feeling like I can work from behind the scenes to do whatever it is that needs to be done. There's a sense that no, maybe you don't have to work from behind the scenes anymore. Maybe you can step out into the world and shine a little bit more. So for you Aquarians, this is very much about your thinking and thought processes and matters related to business and communications, about how you act from behind the world, how you are a support to the collective, but kind of not visible. And there is a need for an upgrade there. There's a need for a paradigm shift and a regeneration in this area of your life. And this full moon will help you activate it. As a matter of fact, the rest of the year, again on the 8th of October, you're going to feel this activation again, and specifically again on the 21st of December, you will kind of have dealt with the last 25%. You're 75% of the way there. You've done 75% of the work already this year. You've got another 25 to tweak It feels like delays. It feels like it's taking forever, but you will get there by the 21st of December. And this is just the process of actually activating this new kind of higher, more tweaked, truthful, authentic version of yourself. And for the Pisces, the full moon is happening for you in an area of your life that has everything to do with your self-esteem and your finances and how you value yourself and what your value systems are, possibly even related to dietary matters. And here you would like to look at your old wounds and traumas and how and what makes you feel insecure about your finances, possibly the diet that you have, your self-esteem, and you want to let that go now over the full moon and say, no, those aren't serving me anymore. These old traumas or insecurities about not having enough money, not being worthy, everything to do with your value system, you can release those now. And by doing so, it will help you in the activation of your new hopes and dreams that you have in your life, because the Saturn-Pluto-Jupiter conjunction is happening in an area of your life which relates to societies and groups at large, to your hopes and dreams and your wishes that you have and the income that you earn. And because this is now outdated, and it has been since Pluto-Saturn conjuncted on the 12th of January, and you're going through this process of letting go of communities, of letting go of hopes and dreams that you've had, and of letting go of friends, and you're making space for new friends and new hopes and dreams and new incomes that come with that and new recognition that comes with that. The love that you receive is the area that this is happening in. And there again, you're 3/4 of the way through letting go of the old paradigm and the old status quo and holding on to friendships and societies and hopes and dreams that don't serve you anymore. They've served you for the last 29 odd years. And it's time to let go of these. And the full moon will assist you. And so too on the 8th of October and again on the 21st of October, when Mars squares these planets, it will really activate. And you might feel like there's delays and it's taking forever to get to this place of truthfulness and new friends and new kind of management of your finances, but you're almost there. You're on the way there. So enjoy the full moon and the ceremonies around that to assist you getting to these places. So thank you everybody for joining us today on the chat about the astrology for the full moon. I hope that you enjoyed it today. If you have and you'd like to join us, you might want to pencil the next dates into your diaries. 1st and 29th of November is the Taurus full moon and the Gemini full moon. We'll have them both at 10 a.m. in the morning. So for those living on the western side of the globe, if you can't be in the live ones unless you want to get up nice and early, which is also a beautiful way to start the day, we will also have recordings that will be available for you that we put up onto YouTube after the event. So thank you all. Thank you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I am now going to hand over to Yvette, who...
Okay, let's start. Come to a comfortable seated position on your mat, rooting down through your sit bones. And if you need to wriggle around from side to side just to get comfortable on your mat or just to get a bit of warmth into your body, please do so. We're going to take 3 deep inhales through our nose and we're going to exhale through our open mouths. And if you want to round your back and slump down with your shoulders and head, please do so. We've been sitting and listening for the last hour and our minds are pretty full. So let's just try to empty the mind and calm the body. So let's inhale through the nose. And allow that spine to grow long, even maybe pull your shoulders all the way up towards your ears. And I'm going to turn sideways so that you can see. And then exhale through your open mouth and start rounding from your tailbone if you want to, rounding your lumbar spine, your chest, and allowing those shoulders to droop down towards the mat. And then lastly, drop your head. Exhale through your open mouth. And then inhale, slowly start to straighten your spine from your tailbone, lumbar, chest, And squaring your shoulders, allowing them to drop away from your ears. Lengthen your neck and then feel like somebody's pulling you up through your crown chakra up towards the ceiling. And then exhale. Allowing that spine to round. Allow the shoulders to drop down towards the mat. And allow your head to grow heavy. And you'll feel that stretch in between your shoulder blades and down your neck. And then on the next inhale, start straightening your spine again from your tailbone through your lumbar spine up to your chest. Square your shoulders and lengthen your neck. Very good. You can do this with your eyes closed or have them open. I'd like you to just rest your hands on your knees, either palms facing up or down, and just to arrive in this space that's going to be your home for the next 1.5 hours. And see where your body connects to the mat. Your sit bones, your thighs, your ankles. And grow comfortable in that position. We're going to do some pranayama. Take your hands and place them onto your belly. If you want to encircle your belly button with your index finger and your thumb. We're going to inhale to the count of 4, expanding that belly like a balloon, and then we'll exhale to the count of 6, deflating the belly, pulling the belly button back towards the spine. Repeating 3 times. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Feel that belly expanding. And then exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All the while pulling that belly button back to the spine. And inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax the shoulders away from your ears. And exhale, 6, 5, 4. Pull that belly button back to the spine. 2 and 1. Last inhale into the belly. 4, 3. Expand it. 2, 1. And exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Next, take your hands up and gently encircle your ribs or place your hands onto your ribs. You're going to breathe into the belly for 4, 3. Pull that breath up into your rib cage, expanding your ribs. 2, 1. Sit a tad bit taller. And exhale, contracting your ribs. 6, 5, 4, 3. Belly button back to the spine. 2 and 1. Inhale into the belly. 4, 3. Pull that breath up into your rib cage, expanding it. 2, 1. Grow a tad bit taller and exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3. Belly button back to the spine. 1. Last inhale into the belly. 4, 3. Pull it up into your ribs. 2, 1. Expanding that rib cage and exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3. Belly button back. 2 and 1. Next, take your fingertips and lightly touch your collarbones. We're going to inhale it to the belly. 4, 3. Pull that breath up into your rib cage. 2. And then all the way up to the tip of your lungs, just behind your collarbones. Sit up a tad bit taller. And exhale from your collarbones. 6, 5. Contract your ribs. 4, 3. Pull your belly button back. 2, 1. Inhale again into your belly. 4, 3. Pull it up into your rib cage. 2. All the way up to your collarbones. And exhale from your collarbones. 6, 5. Contract your ribs. 4, 3. Belly button back. 2, 1. Last inhale into your belly. 4, 3. Expanding it, pulling it up into those ribs. 2. All the way up to your collarbones. 1. And exhale. 6, 5. Contract your ribs. 4, 3. Belly button back. 2. And 1. And then simply place your palms left and right of your thighs and see what's going on in your body. Has it calmed down? Has your breathing slowed down? What about that monkey chatter up in the mind? Hopefully it has calmed down, maybe even taken a hike, vanished completely. So deep belly breathing is always of essence when you feel stressed, excited, anxious. Just connect with your breathing, with a counting, distracts from your mind. Take your hands in front of your heart center in Anjalina Mudra and lightly touch your thumbs to your heart center. And think of a dedication, affirmation, mantra, or wish that is just right for you today, that will guide you through the class, guide you through the flow. When you found something, gently lower your forehead down to your fingertips and repeat it to yourself 3 times. And then take your thumbs up to your forehead and root that thought in your mind as well. And then slowly take your hands down again, flutter your eyes open. The lighting is really not good. I'm just realizing, I'm really sorry. Wriggle your fingers and start rotating those wrists in both directions. And then interlace your fingers. Place them under your chin. And on the inhale, let me turn around. On the inhale, we're going to open our chest, bend our head backwards. Elbows are facing out. Opening your chest and your throat and look up towards the ceiling. Keep your core slightly tight so that you don't fall into a hollow back. And then on your exhale, slowly come on down so your head is straight and the shoulders are level. Inhale again. Opening your chest and your throat. And exhale, slowly come down again, look straight forward. Inhale last time. Bending at your chest. And come on down. And then still having your hands interlaced, reach those arms up and you are stretching from your hips all the way up to your fingertips. Stretching up tall, feeling that from your hip all the way up along your rib cage, into your shoulders and along your arms. Exhale, come on down. Gently pulling on your wrists. You'll feel that stretch from your shoulders all the way down along your arms, maybe even from your earlobes along your neck. Inhale, go up again. And repeat that 3 times. I need to work on this light situation or else you can't see me. I'm really sorry about this. Hasn't been this dark for a long time. Do another 3 deep inhales. This is scary, but at least it's lit. And exhale. And let's just meet in the exhale. And keep pulling on those wrists. And if you want to, even pull your shoulder blades back, down, all the way down to your tailbone, opening your chest. Very good. On the next inhale, let's take our hands out to the sides. Pull on those arms so that you can actually feel the stretch across your hands, all the way along your arm and across your chest. Lower those shoulders away from your ears. You might actually feel a stretch just below your shoulder blades as well. On your exhale, go around, hug yourself, grab hold of your shoulders or even your shoulder blades and pull those shoulders away from your ears. Drop your chin down to your chest. And you'll feel that stretch in between your shoulder blades and along your neck. On the next inhale, take your arms out to the side again. Fingertips reach out to those sides. And now take your arms behind your shoulders. Squeeze that fleshy bit in between your shoulder blades. Keep your arms horizontal to your mat. And then exhale, go hug your shoulders, different arm at the top this time. Pulling your shoulders away from your ears, dropping your chin down towards your chest. And inhale, look straight up. Rotate those shoulders backwards and forwards. Very good. Take your arms out to the side again. Your palms are facing down. Tuck your thumbs under and curl those fingers around those thumbs. And then move your fists down towards the mat. You'll feel the stretch across the top of your hands and your arms all the way up to your elbows. And keep pulling those fists down. Your shoulders are relaxed away from your ears. Keep breathing. Most of the time, if something gets strenuous or uncomfortable, we just stop breathing. On the next inhale, take those fists up again and start wriggling those fingers, rotating the wrists in both directions. Take your right hand, place it right next to your thigh. On the inhale, we're going to reach that left arm up. And we're not just going to reach it up, we're going to reach those fingers all the way up, pulling out of that left shoulder, out of the left armpit, all the way up. So you'll feel that stretch from your left hip along the left ribs into the fingertips. Root down through your left sit bone. And on the exhale, we're going to slightly bend over to the right side. We're going to do 3 repetitions. So let's be gentle with that body. Reach over to the right side. Imagine somebody's pulling on your left wrist. And inhale, come back. Exhale, place that left hand on the ground. Inhale, reach your right arm up. Same thing here. Root down through your right sit bone. Feel that stretch through your right shoulder all the way up to the ceiling. And on the exhale, let's bend over to the left side. Here as well, imagine somebody's pulling on your right wrist, feeling that stretch all the way from your right hip up to your fingertips of the right hand. Inhale, come back. Exhale, place the right hand down again. Inhale, left arm up. Now let's bend a bit more on that exhale. If you feel like you have to walk your right hand further away from your body to get a bit bigger bend here, do so. Just make sure that you keep that left hip rooted into the ground through your sit bone. Keep your left shoulder open. Inhale, come back. Exhale, change sides. Inhale, right side. Exhale, bend over to the left side here as well. Move your left hand away from your body to get a bigger bend. Keep that shoulder open. Pull that right shoulder blade down towards your tailbone. Inhale. Switch sides one more time. Pull up on your left side, bend over on your exhale, and you'll see that with each and every repetition, the range of motion is going to get bigger and you'll feel lengthened, or your muscles will feel nice and long. Inhale, come back again, change sides one more time. Very good. On the next inhale, come on back, rotate your shoulders backwards and forwards. And then take your knees under your body. Come into tabletop. Knees are hip width apart. Your feet are also hip width apart. Your fingers are splayed. Your hands are under your shoulders. Try to make an L between your thumb and your index finger and look straight down to the mat. We're going to do some cat-cows. We're going to inhale. Drop that belly down towards the mat. Open your chest and pull your shoulder blades back towards the tailbone, opening your throat up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, round your lower back, round your upper back, and drop your head down and firmly press into that mat with your hands, lengthening your arms. And you might feel that stretch just across your shoulders, widening the space in between your shoulder blades. Try to tuck that tailbone under firmly. And then inhale, drop your belly, open your chest, and look up towards the ceiling. And exhale, curl your tailbone under, round your upper back, drop your head, pushing those shoulders up into the shoulder socket. And on the next inhale, just come back into that natural curve of your back. Tuck your toes under, tighten that core. And on the next inhale, we're going to lift those knees slightly off the mat. Look straight down to the mat so that your neck is an elongation of your spine. Press firmly into your palms, into all 10 fingertips so that your wrists are not stretched. Look down to your knees and see whether they're hovering above the mat. If not, then lower them closer to the mat. Keep that core tight. Inhale. On the next exhale, drop those knees down, flatten your toes, and come into child's pose, allowing your lower abdomen to rest on your thighs, walking your hands away from your body, walking those fingers away from your head, lengthening those arms. And on the exhale, allow your hands to gently slide back towards your body, pulling your shoulders down towards your tailbone, allowing your sit bones to rest on your heels. And again, inhale, lengthen those arms, walking your fingers away. Feel that stretch in your armpits, maybe just on the outside of your shoulders and all the way down your back towards your sit bones. And then on the exhale, allow those hands to slide towards your body, pulling your shoulders gently down towards your tailbone. On the next inhale, look forward, come back into tabletop, tuck your toes under. We'll go up again, reaching those knees away from the mat. Slightly round your upper back, tighten that core and keep breathing. On the next inhale, stretch that left leg out. Foot is flexed and that right big toe is slightly turned towards your right heel so that your left hip is closed. Check where your right knee is. Allow it simply to hover above the mat. Don't stop breathing. And that left heel is pulling towards the wall behind you, lengthening out of the hip. Inhale. Drop that left foot down and just stretch that right leg out. Right foot is flexed, right big toe is facing your left ankle or heel to close your right hip. Check where your left knee is. Allow it to hover above the mat. And your neck is an elongation of your spine. You're looking straight down to the mat. Keep breathing and lengthen that right leg out of the hip. Inhale, tuck your knee in, drop both feet down to the mat. Take your knees out to the edge of your mat. Flatten your toes and come into wide knee child's pose. You can leave your upper body upright if you want to, firmly pressing into the hand, pulling those shoulders away from your ears, and allow those shoulder blades to pull all the way down to your sit bone, or you just go down, lower your chest down onto the mat, walking your fingers away. And if it feels uncomfortable to have your chin on the mat, just place a cheek or the forehead on the mat so it's comfortable to you. Allow your lower abdomen to drop in between your thighs. Feeling that nice stretch just in your lumbar spine, in your iliosacral joint. Allow your sit bones to travel down towards your heels. Let's stay here and take 2 deep breaths. And allow those exhales to become longer and longer with every breath you take. With the next inhale, look towards your hands and then tuck your knees under your hips again. Maybe you'll have to walk your hands another 10 centimeters away from your body. We're going to go into puppy pose. Allow your chest to drop down towards the mat, and your sit bones go all the way up towards the ceiling. You'll feel that stretch along your upper arms, in your armpits, in your chest or across your chest, maybe in your neck. If that feels uncomfortable, having your chin on the mat, just place either cheek onto the mat. And allow your chest to float down towards the mat. And allow those sit bones to reach up towards the ceiling. And you'll feel that nice stretch or relief in your lumbar spine, with all your organs dropping down towards your chest, which is resting towards or on the mat. Let's take 2 deep breaths here. And one more. For the next inhale, look towards your hands, come back up, take your hands under your shoulders again. Make sure that your wrists are beautifully aligned under your shoulders. Take your right hand under center line of your body, fingers still splayed. On the next inhale, we're going to reach the arms over, the left arm over to the side. Exhale, twist open on that left side, firmly pressing into the right hand, allowing your right arm to grow up, pressing the shoulder up. Exhale, take that hand down, place it under your center line. Inhale, take your right arm out horizontally, pressing firmly into that left hand, allowing that left arm to grow tall. And then exhale, twist the right arm up towards the ceiling. Your gaze follows your right hand, beautifully opening your chest. Exhale, let's change sides again. Inhale, left arm comes to the side, horizontal to the floor. Exhale, twist, pressing firmly into that right hand so that you are growing on that right side. Exhale, change sides again. Left hand comes under your body, right arm reaches out horizontal. Lengthen that left arm. Exhale, open on the right side. Your gaze follows your hand up towards the ceiling. Exhale, come on down. Place your hands under your shoulders again. Tuck your toes under. We'll go up one more time, tightening that core, rounding your upper back, firmly pressing into your hands. Your knees are hovering above the mat. Make use of your exhales. 2 more. Your gaze goes straight down to the mat so that your neck is an elongation of your spine. Last inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to push up into that first downward facing dog. Walk that dog. While we're walking this dog, let's work through some alignment so your fingers are splayed like they have been before in tabletop. They're shoulder width apart. Your upper arms are slightly rounded outwards or rotated outwards so that you can square your shoulders. Your neck is easy. Your head is hanging down towards the mat. Your gaze goes down towards your thighs, knees, or shins. Your shoulder blades are pulling down towards your tailbone. Let's find some stillness. Your feet are hip width apart, and your legs are either bent or straight, depending on how flexible you are today. The aim would be to get a beautiful stretch from your fingertips all along your arms, down your back, across your glutes, and all the way down your hamstrings into your heels. If your heels are on the ground and your legs are straight, just pull your kneecaps up into your quads to engage those muscles, and then pull your toes up towards your knees. Allow your chest to sink down towards your thighs. And then drop those toes down to the mat. Lift the heels off the mat, come up onto your toes, pressing a bit harder into the palms of your hands to get that chest closer to your thighs. Feel that stretch across the entire backside of your body. Allow those sit bones to get a glimpse of the ceiling. On the next exhale, drop those heels down onto that mat. Inhale, look towards your hands and float forward into plank. Be mindful of your body. Do as much as you can today. It's got to feel nice, not strenuous. Firmly plant your hands into that mat, and splaying those fingers really helps you to prevent any injury or pain in your wrists. Exhale, come back into downward facing dog. Let's repeat this 3 times. Let's make this into a wavy flow. Inhale, come forward into plank, pulling those shoulders away from your ears. Your core is tight, your legs are engaged, and your heels are pulling back towards the wall. Exhale, move back into downward facing dog by using your core muscles. Look down towards your thighs. Inhale, come back forward into plank, pulling shoulders away from your ears, tighten your entire body, pulling your heels back to the wall. Exhale, downward facing dog. Last inhale, come forward into plank. And then come down into low plank. Your elbows are under your shoulders, your fingers are splayed, your core is tight. We're going to exhale, we're going to drop the heels to the right. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, drop your heels to the left. Look straight down to the mat. Inhale, come to center. One more on each side. Exhale, drop your heels to the right. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, drop your heels to the left. And then inhale, come back to center. Allow your knees to drop down onto the mat. Flatten your toes. Lie down and then open your chest. Come into Sphinx pose. Look straight forward, pulling your shoulders away from your ears, lengthening that spine. Imagine somebody's pulling a beautiful red ribbon from your crown chakra all the way up towards the ceiling. Your toes are pointed, your legs are engaged. Inhale. On the exhale, tuck your toes under, come up on your knees, come back into a low plank, and then come up into high plank. And on the exhale, press back into downward facing dog and take that dog for a walk. Use your ankles and knees, your hips. If you want to take your shoulders along, please do so. Anything that feels comfortable to you today. It's all about forgiveness today in this Aries full moon. So let's start with ourselves. Let's forgive ourselves for anything and everything. And then find some stillness. On the next inhale, lift your left foot all the way up towards the ceiling, still firmly pressing into both hands, and your chest is aimed at your right thigh. Left toes are pulling up towards the ceiling. You'll feel that stretch in both inner thighs. Inhale and lift yourself to the toes of your right foot, pressing your torso down towards your right thigh. Lower your right heel. Bend your left knee and drop your left heel behind your right hip. Opening that left hip, feeling that stretch in your right inner thigh. Make sure that your left shoulder is tugged toward your right thigh to keep the shoulders closed. If you glimpse under your right arm, you might actually see your foot. On the next inhale, reach the left toes up towards the ceiling again. And then exhale, bend your left knee and tug it towards your nose. Tighten that core. Inhale, reach your left toes up again. Exhale, bend your left knee towards your nose again. Three-legged plank. Inhale, last time, reach your left toes up. And on the exhale, take the left foot down. Walk that dog. Feel the difference from the left side to the right side. Your left hip might feel far more open and air-conditioned. Find some stillness in your downward facing dog. On the next inhale, reach your right foot up towards the ceiling, closing your right shoulder by tilting or turning your chest towards your left thigh. Right toes are reaching up towards the ceiling. Feel that stretch across the inner thighs of both legs. Inhale, lift yourself to the toes of your left foot, extending that stretch across both inner thighs. Exhale, drop your left heel down. Bend your right knee and drop your right heel behind your left hip, opening that right hip. Close your right shoulder by turning it towards the left thigh. Make sure you're still in three-legged dog pose. Your torso is going down towards your left thigh. If you glimpse under your left arm, you might see your foot. On the next inhale, reach the toes of your right foot up towards the ceiling, extending that stretch. Exhale, bend your right knee towards your nose, scrunching those core muscles. Three-legged plank. Exhale, reach the right toes up towards the ceiling again. And then bend that right knee towards your nose one last time. Exhale, toes up towards the ceiling. And then drop them down towards the mat. Walk that dog. And feel the difference in your hips now, in your inner thighs. Lengthened muscles, smooth muscles. Find some stillness in your downward facing dog. The next inhale, look forward. Walk or hop or step towards your hands and come straight into a half lift, straight back, straight neck. Look straight down towards the mat. Your legs are straight, your back is straight, your hands are on your thighs. Exhale, forward fold. If you want to bend your knees, then allow your abdomen or chest to wander down and lie on your thighs. Allow gravity to pull your shoulders and head down towards the mat. On the next inhale, slowly roll up into a standing position, vertebra after vertebra, and then take your hands all the way up towards the ceiling, taking your shoulders along, feeling that stretch again from your hips all the way along your arms to your fingertips. Exhale, pull your shoulders down, away from your ears. Take your hands in front of your heart center. Open up into goddess pose. Toes are slightly turned out. Let's try to get a 90-degree angle from between your lower leg and your upper leg, and try to go down evenly like an elevator. I'll turn over to the side. Don't have your glutes sticking out or your pubic bone sticking forward, just nice and easy. Imagine there's a weight attached to your tailbone and it's going straight down towards the ground. Tighten that core slightly. And you might feel a bit of a stretch in your inner thighs. Tighten the core and take your arms out. Cactus arms. Get a 90-degree angle between your upper arm and your lower arm as well. Your palms are facing forward, your face is relaxed. We're going to stay here. We're going to inhale. We're going to lengthen that spine. And exhale, just lower down a bit more. Inhale, lengthen that spine. Exhale, lower down. Keep that core nice and tight, fingers splayed. Inhale. On the exhale, we're going to twist to the right. Keep those arms in the same position. Inhale, come back. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the left. Last time. Inhale, come back to center. Place your hands onto your thighs and slowly walk a bit closer with your feet until they're a bit more than hip distance apart, and then allow your pelvis to drop in between your feet, coming into Malasana. Toes are facing out. And then take your palms in front of your heart center, thumbs lightly placed along your sternum, and your upper arm is going to press your knees out, and your knees are slightly pushing against your upper arm. So you'll feel that stretch along your inner thighs. And if you're pressing your knees against your upper arms, you'll feel muscle action going on in your lower back and your outer hips. If you want to lower your head down towards your fingertips, and then you'll feel a muscle stretch across your shoulder girdle and along your neck. If your heels do not touch the ground, either double up your mat or place a book or a cushion under your heels. On the next inhale, slowly release that hold that you have on your upper arms and come to sit on your mat. Stretch those legs, cross those ankles, and just sway your feet from side to side just to get these hip joints closed again. And then cross the ankles the other way around. Slowly but surely getting those hips closed. Very good. Bend your legs, your feet are hip distance apart. We're going to go into a reverse tabletop just to open up that entire chest area. Take your hands behind your glutes. Your thumbs are touching, your fingers are splayed. We're going to inhale deeply, open that chest up towards the ceiling, rotating your shoulders backwards. So there you're already going to feel a stretch in your arms. Firmly press those hands into the mat, lengthening those arms. And now with the next inhale, raise your hips up towards the ceiling. That's why it's called reverse tabletop. If you feel comfortable enough to drop your head in between your shoulders, do so. If not, just gaze along the front side of your body down towards your knees where you're squeezing a purple balloon. And now transfer 50% of your body weight into your feet and 50% into your hands. And with each and every inhale, we're going to lift the hip further up towards the ceiling. So you'll feel the entire front side working, the back side working. Your upper arms are being stretched. You'll feel that muscle stretch across your chest. 2 more inhales and reach those hips up, squeezing the balloon. And last one, a bit higher. And on the exhale, slowly lower your glutes down to the mat. Maybe walk your feet a bit further away, and then allow your upper body to come to rest on your thighs. Allow those hands to rest wherever they want to go, and drop your head in between your knees, feeling that nice stretch from your sit bones along your back, across your shoulders and all the way down your neck. Allow that head to become heavy. If you have your hands resting with the fingertips pointing away from your glutes, you're allowing your upper back to relax and to ease. If you take your hands forward, left and right next to your feet with the palms facing down, you'll have a different stretch, which is going to be more in your neck area and the top of your shoulders. With the next inhale, slowly come on up, rounding vertebra after vertebra, squaring your shoulders. Stretch those legs. Engage the legs, flex your feet, pulling your toes all the way down, back towards your belly. Root down through your sit bones, and then allow those heels to relax on the ground. Inhale, lengthen your spine, reaching your fingers up towards the ceiling. We're going to bend from our hips, and imagine somebody's pulling you forward towards your toes from your sternum. Inhale, lengthen that spine. Exhale, bending from your hip, trying to keep your lower back as flat as possible for as long as possible. So if you'd like to tuck your belly button back towards your spine to give you more space to bend. Look straight forward, shoulders are being pulled away from your ears, face is relaxed. On every inhale, lengthen that spine, some more pulling the belly button back. On the exhale, try to bend and reach forward a bit more. When you've reached the spot where you're saying, this is enough, I can't do any more, allow your palms to rest onto the mat, looking towards your toes, and then allow that head to travel down towards your shins. Still on the inhale, pull that belly button back towards the spine, lengthening the spine. And on the exhale, you might be able to bend a bit closer towards your legs. Maybe you want to use your fingers to pull your body closer towards the legs, your upper body. And as well here again, make use of that exhale to lengthen. Inhale and exhale. Last one. And exhale. On the next inhale, look towards your flexed toes. Use your hands to slowly come back into an upright seated position and be gentle with your spine. Start straightening from your tailbone, lumbar, square your shoulders, and then look straight forward. And then bend your left knee towards your chest. Allow it to drop down towards the mat. The left sole of your foot is pressing against your right inner thigh. Your right leg is engaged. Both sit bones are firmly pressing into the ground. Reach your hands up, lengthen from your hip, and exhale your torso down towards the toes of your right foot. Same thing as before, we're just tending with our torso towards the right foot, getting a bit of a twist in there. When you've reached the spot where you can't bend anymore, allow your palms to drop down. Keep gazing at the toes of your right foot, which is flexed. Inhale, lengthen. Use your fingers to walk past or towards your feet. And exhale, allow your head to drop down towards your knee or shin, wherever it gets to rest today. You'll feel that stretch in the hamstrings of your right leg. You might feel a bit of a stretch in your left hip and across the left side of your iliosacral joint. Make sure that you're pulling your left shoulder down towards your right leg to keep that chest closed. On the next inhale, look towards your flexed toes and use your hands to slowly come back to an upright seated position. Take your left knee back to your chest, stretch your left knee, repeat with your right. Take your right knee towards the chest, allow that knee to drop down to the mat. The sole of your right foot is pressing to the inner thigh of your left leg. Your left leg is flexed and engaged. Root down through both sit bones. Inhale, reach your fingertips up. Taking your shoulders along, and on the next exhale, bend forward from your hips and keep your lower back as flat as possible for as long as possible. When you've reached your maximum flexing point, allow your palms to drop down to the mat. Inhale, pull that belly button back towards your spine, and exhale, allow your chest to drop down towards your left leg, closing your right shoulder so that your chest is squared. Use your fingers to walk towards your feet or past your feet, lengthening on your inhale and bending on your exhale. And then allow your head to rest towards your leg or on your knee or shin. Remember to lengthen on your inhale and to drop down on your exhale. You'll feel that stretch here as well in the hamstrings of your left side and your right hip and right outer part of the iliosacral joint will feel the stretch. One more long inhale and beautiful extended exhale, allowing those muscles to lengthen and soften on the exhale. On the next inhale, look towards your toes and then use your hands to slowly come back into upright seated position. Use your right hand to take your right knee back towards your chest. Stretch both legs. Just cross those ankles and sway them from side to side. Uncross, cross the other way around. And then bend your knees and come back into a laying position on your back. Let's just hug those knees in towards our chest first and sway from side to side, relieving any possible tension that is in your lumbar spine. If you feel like drawing circles with your knees on the ceiling, please do so, then do so in both directions. We're going to go into bridge pose. Take your feet down, hip distance apart. Your big toes are facing each other. You can touch your heels with your fingertips. We're going to inhale and slightly tilt that pelvis up, just slightly. So it means that your glutes are finger width off the mat. Firmly pressing the soles of your feet into the ground. Remember that purple balloon in between your knees again. And exhale. Drop that pelvis down to the mat again. On the next inhale, we're going to lift that pelvis a tad bit higher. Reach all the way up to the bra strap. So your lumbar spine is off the mat, your glutes are off the mat, and your shoulder blades are firmly pressed into the mat. Your neck is long. You're squeezing an apricot in between your chin and your chest. Exhale, lower the pelvis down again. On the next inhale, we're going to go all the way up, pressing the hips all the way up towards the ceiling as far as you can go. Curl your shoulders and upper arms under your body. interlace your fingers, and now firmly press those outer parts of your arms and shoulders into the mat to get leverage, to be able to push your hips even further up towards the ceiling. Your neck is nice and flat and long. You're squeezing that apricot in between your chest and your chin, and the purple balloon in between your knees. Let's take 3 deep breaths here, inflating that belly and chest on the inhale, and deflating the chest and belly on the exhale. You might feel a stretch along your psoas, which is your hip flexor, which is good. Inhale and exhale. Inhale last time. Let go of your interlaced fingers, uncurl your shoulders and your upper arms, and never look left and right if you have weight on your shoulders or your neck, and slowly lower your iliosacral joint and glutes down to the mat again. Take your arms out left and right like a T. Maybe walk your feet a bit further away from your glutes and gently sway your knees from side to side. If you want to stay like that with your knees, that is fine. Else, drop your knees to the left side of your body and look towards your right hand. And feel that beautiful stretch across or along your right side, your right ribs, your right hips. And travel into your inner thighs with your attention and see whether you're actually holding on. And actively let go of any tension in your right inner thigh. And then in your left inner thigh, allowing your left leg to drop down towards the floor, opening your hips even more. If you need a bit more of a stretch, take your left ankle, place it on the outside of your right knee, and gently apply some pressure, feeling your right hip opening more and lengthening the space in between your ribs. On the next inhale, bring your knees and nose up towards the ceiling. Exhale, drop your knees over to the right and gaze over to your left hand. Feeling the stretch along the left side of your body. And allow the inner thighs of both legs to surrender their weight to the mat. And you might feel your right leg dropping all the way down towards the mat. If you want a bit more of a stretch, take your right ankle, place it on the outside of your left knee, gently applying pressure, feeling the opening of the left hip and the space in the ribs or in between the ribs, the intercostal muscles being stretched a tad bit more. On the next inhale, come back to center. Take your feet up towards the ceiling with stretched legs. Flex those feet, arms stretched out. Palms are flexed as well. We're in bear pose. Make sure your neck is nice and long. Your shoulder blades are firmly pressing into the mat. Everything is engaged, including your smile. We're going to stay here with these strong arms, strong legs for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then shake it all out. Shake out the wrists, the ankles, the knees, the toes, whatever needs to be shaken out, just let it go. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then slowly allow your legs and arms to come down to the mat. Allow your body to grow heavy. Have your palms facing down. We're going to inhale, we're going to arch our lower back, reaching that chest up towards the ceiling, maybe even lifting the shoulders off the ground. And then on the exhale, allow those shoulders to come back onto the mat. Allow the ribs to float down towards the ground. And gently press your lumbar spine into the mat, tilting your pubic bone up, feeling that stretch along your psoas. Inhale again, arching your lower back, belly goes up towards the ceiling, heart goes up, even perhaps raising the shoulders off the mat. And then exhale, lower your shoulder blades down, allow them to melt into the mat. Ribs come down onto the mat. And gently press your lumbar spine down into the mat, stretching your psoas. And on the next inhale, just allow your spine to find its natural curve. Turn your palms facing up to fully allow your shoulder blades to lie flat on the mat. Allow your ankles to fall outward. Make sure that you keep nice and warm. And we'll flow from the Shivassina into the guided meditation. Your feet and your ankles, relax. Your shins, your calves, relax. Your knees, your thighs, relax. Your pelvis, your glutes, relax. Your belly, your chest, relax. Your shoulders, your arms, relax. Your wrists, the palm of your hands, your fingers, relax. Your neck, the back of your head, relax. Your forehead, your eyebrows, the space between your eyebrows, relax. The tip of your nose, your lips, relax. Your tongue, your lower jaw, relax. Your chin, your cheeks, your ears, relax. the entire backside of your body. Relax. The entire front side of your body. Relax. Surrender your entire body weight to the mat. Feel the support beneath you and allow it to take your weight. Become aware of the sounds around you. Let them be there. Notice the light and shade, and the air touching the surface of your body. Sense the sky above you, and the horizon stretching all the way around you. The earth below, supporting you. Allow your mind to empty what it no longer needs to hold on to. Let it go. Flow out and away. Allow your body to release what it no longer needs to hold on to. Let it go. Flow out and away. Draw yourself back from where you've been. Draw your energies back home to your center. And just ground yourself in this moment, here. Begin to sense the space around you. Breathe with the space and become aware of the rise and fall of your breath. It's coming and going. Breathe down to where the weight of your body rests, below the base of your spine, to your root, your chakra of belonging. Breathe into your root and let it soften and gently expand on your breath, taking in nourishment and life force energy. Allow your root to connect down to the ground below, deep into the earth. And invite the color red, the color of the earth. Bathe your root with red, empowering, embodying, grounding you in the here and now. Let your root take what it needs. And say the words, I am here. I have a right to be here as I am. The earth supports me. When you're ready, allow your awareness to move up to your belly, just below your navel, to your hara, your chakra of emotional space, the emotional intelligence, choice, creativity, and pleasure. Breathe into your hara. And let it gently soften and expand on your breath, taking in nourishment and life force energy. Invite the color orange, the color of the setting sun. Bathe your hara with orange, balancing, empowering, motivating. Let your hara be fed and say the words, I honor my needs. I allow myself to be nourished. When you are ready, move your awareness up to that soft area just below your breastbone, to your solar plexus, your chakra of personal power. Breathe into here, allowing your solar plexus to soften and expand on your breath. And invite the color yellow, the color of sunshine. Bathe your solar plexus with sunshine, replenishing, restoring, nurturing. Letting your solar plexus take what it needs. As you say the words, I value myself. I am enough. I am more than enough. I am worth my weight in gold. When you're ready, bring your awareness up to the center of your chest, to your heart, your chakra of self-development and unconditional love. And gently breathe into your heart, letting it soften and expand on your breath. And invite the color green, or rose pink, whichever feels right to you today. Bathe your heart center with nourishment, renewal, healing. Let your heart take what it needs and say the words, I am greatly loved. I allow myself to give and receive love freely. I am nourished by the power of love. In your own time, move up to your neck, to your throat, to your chakra of self-expression and personal will. And allow your throat center to soften, expand, and breathe. Inviting in blue, the color of the sky. Breathe sky into your throat center, clearing, opening, softening the need for control, freeing self-expression and creativity. And let your throat take what it needs and say the words, I hear and speak my truth. I express myself freely. I allow myself to go with the flow of life. When you're ready, take your focus up to your forehead, to that spot between your eyebrows, to your third eye, your chakra of wisdom and intuition, and gently allowing it to soften, expand, and breathe. Inviting the color indigo, the velvety color of night sky. And bathe your third eye with indigo, soothing, balancing, bringing clarity, insight, and understanding. Let your third eye take what it needs and say the words, everything is unfolding as it should. Moving up in your own time to the top of your head, to your crown, to your chakra of oneness, allowing your crown to breathe. And gently invite in a light violet, softly bathing your crown, balancing, restoring, harmonizing. And let your crown take what it needs. And say the words, I am one with the universe. I am one with the whole. When you're ready, come back to yourself as a whole, back to the ebb and flow of your breath, back to your center, and breathe into your core and say the words, I am whole, I am perfect, just as I am. And allow the energy of the words to bathe your body, mind, and spirit. And take what you need. In your own time, become aware of the air on the surface of your body, the sounds around you, near and far. And close your chakras down a little. Just having the intention is enough. Become aware of the support beneath you. Notice how you feel. And hold yourself with loving kindness for the beautiful, unique being that you are. In this special full moon in Aries, it's all about forgiveness. So bathed in the bright light of this Aries full moon, forgive yourself and say to yourself, I forgive everything. I forgive everyone. I forgive every experience and memory of the past or present that needs to be forgiven. I fully forgive everyone, including myself. I am forgiven with universal love. And that love I bring to all my thoughts, actions, and relations. I allow this Aries full moon to cleanse my soul fragments and ask them to rejoin me. Bathed in the bright light of the full moon, I am healed. My life is healed. And so be it. When you're ready, take a deep inhale into your belly and bring tiny movements to your fingers and your toes. Upon your next inhale, stretch your arms over your head. Give your body a nice stretch from your fingertips all the way down to the tip of your toes. Lengthening, awakening. When you're ready, pull one knee after the other towards your chest and gently sway from side to side. activating the nadis left and right of your spine, Ida and Pingala. And then roll over into embryo pose on your right side, moving forehead to your knees, allowing the sensation of utter calm to float throughout your body and sink in. When you're ready, come up to a comfortable seated position, rooting down into the mat through your sit bones. Hands either on your knees or in your laps. Shoulders relaxed away from your ears. Corners of your mouth turn upwards. Now scan your body for any dis-ease or discomfort. If you encounter any, float your attention there on your inhale and release it on your exhale. Take your hands in front of your heart center, thumbs lightly touching your sternum, and allow your forehead to float down to your fingertips in gratitude for the time and effort you put into yourself, into your praxis today. And recall that wish or dedication or affirmation from beginning of the class. And repeat it 3 times to yourself. And then take your thumbs up to your forehead. Love is in your thoughts. Take them down to your lips. Love is in your words. Back down to your heart center where love resides. Allow that feeling to spread throughout your emotional and physical body, beyond your body, and reach out into the universe. Touch as many people as you'd like to today. Thank you very much for joining me on this Aries full moon celebration. Thank you very much.